You want to talk about a national embarrassment? Joe Biden. Joe Biden is making his beg for oil tour around the Middle East. And Biden really irked a lot of people, not just on the right, but especially on the left at the end of last week, because he shows up to Saudi Arabia and basically just begs the crown prince for oil. The reason for this is that Joe Biden shut down new oil and gas production in the United States and shut down new oil pipelines, even though he gave the green light to an oil pipeline for Vladimir Putin. He's giving the green light. He's actually begging the Middle Eastern oil states to produce more oil, but he's just not producing American oil. I guess Saudi Arabian oil doesn't pollute the environment in the way that American oil does. It doesn't make sense to me, but that must be the premise here. I don't know why it's okay for Saudi Arabia to produce oil and profit from that, but it's not okay for Americans to do the very same. So he's going around, he's begging people to get more oil. And the thing that really irked the left was he goes to Saudi Arabia and he gives a fist bump to the Saudi crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman. Now, this is embarrassing. Again, it gets to this issue of national dignity. I want my leaders to not behave like teenagers. A bit nice handshake would be good, sturdy handshake, but okay, he gives the fist bump, fine, whatever. The reason the libs are upset by the fist bump is that for the past 3-4 years or longer, they have been painting Mohammed bin Salman as the worst, terrible, murderous, monster barbarian in the entire world. And the reason they've done that, or the reason that they've been able to make this argument, is because the head of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, assassinated that disinterested symbol of journalism, Jamal Khashoggi. Do you remember Jamal Khashoggi? Maybe you don't remember it. I mean, the news cycles move so fast now. Jamal Khashoggi, here is the story that was presented about Jamal Khashoggi. He was a journalist, a reporter, a columnist for the Washington Post who was just minding his own business in Turkey, and the Saudi crown prince sent his thugs, his assassins, to the residence where Jamal Khashoggi was staying, and they chopped him up and they tortured him and they killed him because he was speaking truth to power and he was a disinterested journalist, and this was an attack on the Fourth Estate and the free press everywhere. And that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. The Jamal Khashoggi story was just complete propaganda. Jamal Khashoggi was a political operative and a spy. He was not, in any reasonable use of the term, a journalist. Jamal Khashoggi had been a spy for Saudi Arabia. He had been a spy for Saudi Arabia's enemies. He had palled around and worked with Osama bin Laden back in the early days of Al-Qaeda. He was on the payroll of Qatar. He would have these foreign interests draft, sometimes write whole portions of the columns that he would submit to the Washington Post and other publications. He was an influence peddler. He was a political operative. He had been on the good side of parts of the Saudi royal family, then he fell on the bad side of parts of the Saudi royal family, and he was working for some of the Saudi enemies. So the Saudis did what the Saudis do, what a lot of states do, and they went out and assassinated their enemies. I'm not defending the assassination of the enemies of Saudi Arabia, but I am saying this is kind of par for the course. And it's very different than the story that had been presented, which is that Saudi Arabia was attacking the free press. That's not it at all. What you saw playing out there with the assassination of Jamal Khashoggi, and really the subsequent media spin around it, is you saw two competing interests, especially in the United States. The libs went crazy over the killing of Jamal Khashoggi because the libs hate Saudi Arabia. They want us to back away from Saudi Arabia and our relationship there, and they want us to cozy up to Iran. The conservatives tend to think that we're better with the devil we know than the devil we don't, and they prefer that we remain allies with Saudi Arabia and that we don't cozy up to Iran, and we don't give Iran pallets of cash, and we don't give Iran a nuclear weapon. And there are a lot of other regional powers at play there as well. So the libs pounced on the Jamal Khashoggi killing to try to generate worldwide opposition to Saudi Arabia and to get people to cozy up more to Iran. It was just a propaganda operation to shift certain geopolitical alliances. And the reason I mention it is because a lot of people fell for it. The Washington Post is still going crazy over the killing of Jamal Khashoggi as some attack on the press. And a lot of people fell for it because they violate the first rule when you are reading any news story. Talked about this a couple weeks ago, but it's really important to keep in mind. When you are reading a news report about any story, domestic, foreign, economic, crime, immigration, whatever, the first question you have to ask yourself before you even get to the facts, the who, what, where, when, why, you have to ask a why question about the story itself. You have to ask, what is the angle? When you're reading the New York Times, when you're reading the Daily Wire, when you're reading anything in between, you need to ask yourself, okay, what is the angle here? Why is this story being reported now by this news outlet? Why? Journalism costs money. People are putting their resources in a certain place, so people are going to make decisions on how to deploy those resources. And there are always political considerations that come into that. So you've got to ask yourself, and it's just it's true across the political spectrum, but it's particularly egregious when we're talking about the Washington Post or the New York Times, where there are huge, entrenched, corrupt interests that fund these papers. What is the angle? Why is this being reported now? Why am I being told that the assassination of an ex-Saudi spy is the worst attack on a free press in the history of the world? And you realize it actually has nothing to do with Jamal Khashoggi. It has nothing to do with the press. It has nothing to do with the Washington Post. It has everything to do with giant political forces trying to restructure the world order. Right now, go to helixsleep.com/Knowles. I have had my Helix mattress for a little under a year and a half, and I absolutely love it. I adore it. One, it's super easy to unbox. They bring it right to your house. Boom, boom, boom. It opens up super easy. You sleep like never before. It's just so wonderful, tailored exactly to your sleep preferences. The way they do that, they've got a quiz that takes 2 minutes to complete, matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. With Helix, you're getting a mattress that you know will be perfect for the way that you sleep. Everyone's unique. Helix knows that. They have several different mattress models to choose from. Soft, medium, and firm mattresses. Mattress is great for cooling you down if you sleep hot. Mattress is great for spinal alignment to prevent morning aches and pains. I just love it. Absolutely cannot recommend these guys enough. You do not need to go to the mattress store ever again. Go to helixsleep.com/Knowles. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz. They will match you to a customized mattress, give you the best sleep of your life. They've got a 10-year warranty. You can try it out for 100 nights, risk-free. They'll even pick it up if you don't love it, but you will love it. For a limited time, get up to $350 off all mattress orders, plus 2 free pillows. For our listeners, it's their best offer yet. Hurry over to helixsleep.com/Knowles. There's a new BLM idol that's out there. You might have missed this one. If you were out having a barbecue with your family this weekend, you might have missed that a new BLM idol dropped. This person is Tekle Sundberg. Tekle Sundberg was a young man who, according to investigators, fired multiple gunshots inside a Seward neighborhood in Minneapolis, inside this apartment building on Wednesday night. And so the police were called. They were trying to talk this guy down. They were trying to get the guy to surrender. The guy just would not surrender. And eventually the cops killed him. And now there are BLM demonstrations, people showing up. Justice for Tekle. He was killed by the racist Minneapolis cops because he's a black man. And they were making their demonstrations, which were interrupted by a really inconvenient person for the BLM crowd. The inconvenient person would be the victim who was almost murdered with her 2 little kids by Tekle Sundberg.
Give me my idols because you guys are celebrating his life.
It was a terror. I'm sure it was a terror.
This is not okay.
You're alive. Shut up.
You can hear BLM. Shut up.
Grief
Shut up.
in silence. This is not okay. This is not a George Floyd situation. George Floyd was unarmed. He was unarmed.
You're alive. Sorry.
This is not okay.
You're alive. The bullet missed you, so stop
My
complaining.
kids have to deal with this and probably have a mental illness now because they almost lost their life.
Of course the kids are
There's
traumatized.
bullet holes in my kitchen
Not in
because
you,
he
though.
sat in the hallway.
No bullet holes in you,
watching
though, he
my move.
Stop complaining. You didn't die. You almost did,
I
but
wish it never happened either. That I don't have a place to call home. I can't sleep that night.
She's obviously going through a moment.
This is not okay.
going through a moment, yeah. She and her 2 kids were almost killed.
She's obviously going through a moment.
And now you're complaining that the guy who shot him got shot.
Home! Go home! Because none of you guys knocked on that man's door to check his health.
Shut up. He come to my house. Shut up, nigga.
Shut up.
You guys did not come.
Now this woman,
Wait, no, 'cause you think it's okay to
this
hit
woman
on my-
comes up, gets in
My
the...
kid's in the car. My kid's in the car. My black kid is in the car. He tried to kill me in front of my kids. He tried to kill
Imagine
me
you're
in
a
front
mother.
of my kids.
And you say, I mean, you totally feel for this one. She's saying, this guy tried to kill me and my children, but me in front of my kids or my children in front of me or all of us at once. And you are all crying because this guy was taken out by police before he could successfully kill me and my children. And now you're really upset that he wasn't allowed to keep shooting. Do you see how that's kind of offensive to me? And BLM doesn't care. You heard the protesters out there say, shut up, you're fine. There's bullet holes in my wall. Yeah, there's not bullet holes in you. Shut up. It's not about you. It's about our narrative. According to our narrative, this guy who was shooting you through your walls and almost killed your kids, he was a poor, innocent victim. He was probably unarmed. I don't know where those bullets came from. And you need to shut up and stop contradicting our narrative or else. I'm glad you liked that clip. We are about 2 people away from hitting 1 million subscribers. I don't know what the actual number is, but we are so close to 1 million. That's going to be great. They're going to send me a big gold play button, and then almost certainly they're going to nuke my channel, right? They're not going to let me get over 1 million subscribers. So let's do it, baby. Let's go out in a blaze of glory. Ring that bell, subscribe, get the notifications. We'll see you next time.